What's going on, everybody? John Eric Polai here with My MMA News, and today's guest will be fighting at UFC Austin, where he takes on Drakkar Klose, joined today by Joe Solecki. Joe, nice to see you again, man. How you doing?
Yeah, doing great, man. Just hanging out between sessions, and like you said, we're getting close. So just winding down, long camp, healthy camp. Just getting excited. It's been good.
Now, the last time we spoke and did an interview, we were kind of discussing how you were getting ready to welcome in your son and have the family grow. Well, since we've spoken, your son has been born. He's almost 4 months old here. I think you told me off here 4 months tomorrow. So, first
Yep.
off, congratulations on the new addition to the family. Just how's all of that been?
Oh, it's been amazing. It's awesome. It's just really cool. Obviously we had our daughter, and it's been fun watching her be a big sister and just going through the process again. Also on the other side of things, now we have a little boy, which is really cool. And he was at the last fight. Well, my wife is pregnant with him, so he was in her belly, but he was kind of there, right? And now this one, he'll be there as well. So he'll be, with the little headphones on in the carrier because he really can't leave my wife's side right now. So yeah, it's all just exciting stuff, and it's just just a blessing. So it's been awesome, and yeah, it's been really cool, and having the family, for the whole training camp. So which has been really cool. Usually I'm away, and this time together every single day. It's been amazing.
I'll tell you what, I really enjoyed seeing the photos from the baby's first Halloween. That was pretty cool. You guys had the setup with Mario and Luigi, and was it Donkey Kong that you I forget, or was it Diddy Kong?
Yeah,
How'd
we
you have him
wanted
dressed
our
up?
plan. Our plan, because my daughter's first movie was in the summertime. We'd never gone to theater before, and you know, and while we were there when we were leaving, I'm like, we got to do it for Halloween. And we told her, and she loves Princess Peach. She wants to be Princess Peach, and I was like, oh, he should be Toad, but they don't make any Toad baby costumes. So the best I could find was a Donkey Kong onesie, and he had little brown sweatpants, and it worked out perfectly. But yeah, it was great. He was a trooper. He didn't fuss or whine or anything, and she was in heaven because she got to be Princess Peach. And I think me and my wife got more compliments than my daughter did walking around town because we were all coordinated. So it was fun. It was a good time.
Definitely was. You could tell you guys had that all coordinated out perfectly. Like I said, I really enjoyed the photos. And this is kind of an exciting family time too. Now you have the first Halloween, then your baby's first Thanksgiving's coming up here. Then of course the big one, Christmas. How's the Christmas
Yep.
shopping going?
Yeah, well, talk to my wife. She was texting me today stuff because I think like, okay, I'll handle it when I get back. I'm always classic. Wait till too late. I love fighting this time of year because then you get to enjoy the holidays. But the only downside is I'll put it off. So she's texting me stuff, and I'll be like, yeah, just like the easy thing is to be like, sure, that's fine until like you look at the damage later on. So we'll see how that all has gone so far. But I've just been saying yes to everything. So she even snuck in a Christmas Village giant Aldi shopping center that I noticed on my ledge. Thank God for my daughter when I got home. She's like, look what we got. She's like, I told you we were just gonna let daddy find that on his own. So she even got stuff for her already. So we're deep in the holiday shopping apparently.
Well, at least she's in charge of it too. It's always nice having somebody else handle the load there with. That's for sure. There. Let's get into fight game stuff now here a little bit before we actually start talking about this upcoming fight. I know for you recently you've made a change with management. It's pretty cool. Scott Holtzman's kind of handling a lot of what you're doing. Just talk about the change a little bit and how it's been having him. Obviously used to have him as like a training partner, as a friend, teammate, the whole nine, but now kind of a little bit doing the management stuff for you a little bit.
Yeah, I mean the big thing is I'm just trying to simplify at this point in my life. It's just having too many cooks in the kitchen can be not a detriment, but for me, I'm like a lower key kind of guy. So it's a lot of it's a lot of almost formalities when you're dealing with a lot of bigger companies, and they're great at what they do. It's amazing. Like they've got somebody for everything. But for me, I don't mind handling a lot of stuff myself, and if I need help, I'll ask for it. What was kind of frustrating for me is you get a lot of people that you don't really know too well, and again, I'm really into like tight knit. So, uh, where other guys will leave management and be like, oh, they didn't do this or that. It wasn't that at all. It was just wanting less is more. Where we were out of my contract, I knew we were kind of coming to a close. I had one more fight left, but kind of assumed I would get a new deal, like before it ended, since I'd been winning. And it was one of those things where okay, had taken a little bit of time off as well from at least taking a fight. I was training the whole time, and everything was just a revamp. We were moving to Gym O, and obviously Scott being a fighter out of here for years, and having a great rapport, being a teammate, and he's always kind of been that guy that's been ahead of me anyway. Two of the most predominant veterans in my career that have helped me were Scott Holtzman and then John Salter on the day to day. I saw him a lot more than I saw Scott. But those are the guys that I would ask for this kind of advice anyway on, contracts or, whatever it might be, coaching. So it worked out perfectly. And we had Scott in town last week, actually. And it was funny because after the first round of sparring, Jeff, our coach, came in the cage, and then Scott was right with him, like, hey, try this, do that. And it's like, man, it's good having you around. I wish you were even a little closer. So it's been great. I think less is more in a lot of ways. And just, when you go out to fight week, it can get, especially as you go on and on. I'm not a big name in the sport by any means, but I'm 6 fights in, and I'm winning. So it's not uncommon to find more and more people around you if you're not careful. So I think it's just something that, trying to get ahead of the curve and really downsize ahead of time in case, you never know. A couple more wins, I could be, who knows where. So you don't want to be surrounded by a bunch of people that maybe you're not comfortable around, especially for me, because, I'm a little introverted. So I like the people that I like to have around. And then, the rest is just kind of noise.
All right, let's talk about training camp now here a little bit. Now you mentioned about the change with the gym, and you guys you're a little tight knit, all coming together under one roof there. Just how's that been? How's camping going?
It's been awesome. It's the two things that have been the difference maker have been my family. So I'm not away from my family at all now, which is spectacular. For some guys, that's a great thing. I think they like to go away and, they get to do whatever the heck they want for, however many weeks. But for me, I don't want to do that. The big thing I probably said in a couple interviews, if I haven't, I've been thinking it is I want to fight a lot longer. I just turned 30. I feel great. And I think the big thing for me is I've always been like a late bloomer in pretty much everything I've ever done, but also I'm disciplined. So my body's good. I stay healthy. I don't have horrible weight cuts. So kind of looking ahead, like we just talked about, was like, I'm 30. I'd like to go as long as my body will possibly let me, so I would hate to have cut a career that I love so much short because I miss my family, well, it would be worth it to be around my family. This is also how I pay the bills. So, looking at that, it was like, okay, what do I want to do here? This is kind of a turning point. We had some time where I knew I wasn't really going to fight because my son was, my wife was pregnant with our son. So I was like, okay, this is the time to make changes, and the hard part was I love my family at Salty Dog Jiu-Jitsu, like that was, I wouldn't be in the UFC if I didn't move from Myrtle Beach to Wilmington to train with John Salter and everybody at Salty Dog. But the other thing was I wanted to be at training camp all year long. It'll let me be more active. It'll let me, be helping other guys get ready for fights. And then I can, hop in on some short notice stuff even. So it kind of suits my lifestyle better to be at camp, 365. So that's been the great thing. The nice thing is we have family back in Wilmington still, so I can go back and train at Salty Dog. Same thing when we go to Myrtle Beach with the other gym I used to train at, Fitness Edge MMA. So it's all like a network now. We're all still just a family of gyms. But being here every single day with Jeff has been huge because, I've got someone pushing me and I've got someone pulling me back as well, which I think the latter can be really important for someone like me. Because if I'm left to my own devices, I'll go crazy, and then I'll also doubt the work that I'm doing, even though I'm probably doing more than, almost everybody I train with, So it's been awesome. And then coming home and getting to be dad. I don't have to check out and, be counting the weeks till the end of camp, which is not my style. I love training camp. It's my favorite. I think it's when I'm doing my best in every area of life. I'm sharp. So it's been awesome. It's been a really, really just great experience. And I've been able to keep the main thing. I get to have my family in the gym when they want to come, when I'm teaching and coaching, which is another thing I'm able to do now because I'm here, took over kind of the jiu-jitsu program. And that's another huge part of what I love to do is, being selfish for camp is great, but I really miss, I had the privilege to teach at Salty Dog. I had the privilege to teach at Fitness Edge, but it was like one day a week at each, and getting to be actually developing a relationship with students and stuff now. And, being kind of one of the main teachers is really, really rewarding. So just all the way around, a very fulfilling experience this camp.
It's great that you're having that great experience down there too, and it seems like things are really coming full circle for you here now. I do want to continue on the training lines here. I wanted to actually ask you. It's kind of funny, as most fight nights or the majority of fight nights anyway seem to always be taking place in the Apex, and I know you kind of get that debate about crowds and not crowds, but it's also funny because like when you do those fights in the Apex, at least like when you travel out to Vegas, you can stay close by. All the training's done right there in the Apex, and they also offer meals and help with weight cuts, the whole 9 yards. This fight being in Austin, Texas, kind of don't have any of that. So how do you approach the travel part of it as far as getting out there and your training and everything else?
Yeah, and the other thing is we're back in front of a crowd, which is cool too. So that's been another exciting. Just talking about all the kind of positives, to look forward to. Is I've never been the guy that cares, but that's pretty exciting for me too. With just gonna get to do the ceremonial weigh-ins and all that, and have the kids at least at that, is really cool. And then when you talk about, yeah, we don't have the convenience of the PI and everything, but I'm not somebody. I mean, we've always utilized it for the training aspect, and it's fine to get to go in the cage, maybe like one day that week. But typically, we always train in the hotel anyway. The other thing was when we were at Pal Stations last time, we just used the hotel except for the one day. So that'll be pretty much the same. This time we're going to stay off campus, just with not having the lockdowns anymore and stuff. It's nice to be able to get away a little bit, and it lets us have a little more room, have a kitchen, have a fridge, all that stuff. That I'd much rather have all that than the convenience of the PI. As much as going to the PI is a world class experience, and if people haven't done it, they are missing out. It's fantastic, but on fight week, I feel like kind of like we talked about with management a little bit. It's hard to come in and pick up, in the ninth inning of the game with a nutritionist that I haven't been working with, which I could distance wise if I wanted to. Same thing with all the resources. So it's like, I'm going to show up and get meals that aren't really, they're tailored to me, but not really. Like I typically eat a lot more than what they provide, and stuff like that. So it's kind of nice to cook and have that room, and instead of having to do it on a hot plate in the room, we'll have a house, and we got a little hot tub set up and all that, and it'll be nice, rent a car, and then my family gets to come out. So, instead of being in 3 or 4 hotel rooms scattered all throughout the hotel, we'll all be in one spot. And again, just I'm nowhere near the end, but seeing some of my friends move on, to retirement and stuff, you start to take things a little more. I don't know if it's sentimental or you just appreciate it a little more. It's kind of looking at those experiences of like, okay, like would I rather be miserable packed away in a hotel, or, bonding with my teammates and coaches and family, having a fire pit and a nice place to enjoy some time together? It's the latter. So I'm actually really excited to be back on the road and be able to, be in a cool place. And I think all of it is just such a blessing at this point. Maybe something I wouldn't have thought of a couple of years ago, but now I'm looking forward to all of it. So silver lining is all the things I just named, and the other stuff it's all good. We have the only thing I look forward to at the PI like that was the hot tub cold plunge, and we have a hot tub and there's a pool there, and I'm pretty sure it's not going to be heated, so there's a little bit of a cold plunge, and we're good to go.
All right, let's talk about your opponent now here a little bit. Obviously, very tough guy. So far, it's been solid throughout his whole UFC career. I know he missed a little bit of a time with an injury, but since he's come back, I mean, he's been winning fights. In your opinion, is this going to be your toughest test to date?
Oh, for sure. I mean, the next one's always the toughest, right? So, even though the last guy he wasn't even in the UFC when I fought him, still the toughest in my mind. You don't really know until you get out there. But just based off records and rankings and everything, yeah, absolutely. And his body of work, it's really good. So yeah, this is the opportunities that we want, right? This is why we took the trip to the Contender Series and signed to the UFC. And you want to, find out where you are and try to be the best in the world and take on these challenges. So these are the ones we wanted. I'm really excited for it. We know he comes from a great camp. We know, great coaches, and he's put a great body of work together. So it's one of those where you have to lock in, and it's almost, you're so diligent on the preparation because how good this person can be when they show up. So it's made me a lot better. Not that I've never taken an opponent lightly at all. I mean, we had Santini last time. That guy, I mean, since then he's proven to be even tougher than we thought. But showed up with reverence and respect for him too. But this is the guy that's gonna bring the best out of me. So. Yeah, we're super excited. We've ticked every single box. We have a couple more to tick this week, but we're ready to go. I really feel confident in the template we've put together and our awareness of who's in front of us.
And how do you see this fight playing out?
It's impossible to say. That's why everybody tunes in, the theater of the unknown, right? But we have our areas where we would like it to go, but there's no telling. He'll keep distance and strike, and throw good strikes, but he has a wrestling background, and a lot of times he falls in with his strikes and puts guys against the wall, but I can never predict it because when guys fight me, I don't know what they're going to do. I've had guys that were, it's the UFC. Everybody's very good at everything. And I think I am too, but I've had guys that, for a fact, their coach has told them to keep it on the feet, and I'll hit them with a hook and they shoot it, Austin Hubbard. And on the flip side, I've had guys that I didn't think were going to want to grapple with me at all, and they put me on my back. So it would be, ridiculous for me to try to anticipate, but we know in each department where he's good at. So, it's a cop-out answer, but I've got to be ready to go 15 minutes in every single frame, and I think the big thing with a vet like him who knows how to win fights, most of his wins are decisions. So he's obviously finding ways to win, is taking it frame by frame. I just can't be desperate to get it to any one area her to hang on to something when it's not there, because the upper tier guys that are able to win fights and be around, I think I'm one of them too, will make you pay for that, right? If you're very rigidly sticking to a game plan, you're going to pay with the, I'd say the top 50 of the division. And that's what we have to, make sure we're doing, is getting the next thing and the next best thing and the next best thing until we've, checked off all 3 rounds or put them away on the way to the third.
All right, so just one last thing now before we wrap things up for the day. Just kind of doing an early kind of outlook for the new year, since this is obviously going to be your last fight here, 2023. Obviously, plans to go out, get a victory on fight night, puts you in a great spot looking at 2024, because obviously you have a nice UFC record there. You probably have the opportunity to get in the earlier part of 2024, maybe get a few fights in when you're kind of, putting a roadmap together for the future here. How do you kind of see 2024 playing out?
Yeah, it's impossible to say, because when you do, I've won fights that I thought this is the one that's going to put me over the edge, and then, not so much. And then I've, had the opposite thing happen. So there's no telling, but activity is going to be key. Like you said, win, lose, or draw. Obviously, we plan to go out and beat this guy, and I think if I do that, good things happen for me and my family and my team. And that's the key. But I do want to be active. That's the big thing, is now I'm here. I'm at my camp. I'm training. I've always trained all year long and always had great training partners. But now, if I'm not in camp, I know someone in the gym is in camp that's close to my weight class. We have such a wide array of guys, so activity is going to be huge. And that's the big one. But just because this is what I love to do, so focused on the second. After that, we'll get back on the plane, come home, and see what happens. But, this is a guy I can't look past. But definitely activity for 2024, God willing.
Joe, pleasure as always, my man. Just last thing before you head out for the day, you want to go ahead, plug your social media so people know where to follow you at. Then, management, sponsorships, anybody got to give shout out to you and do so already. I mean, floor is yours. You take it away, man.
Yeah, appreciate it. Just who we talked about, Scott Holtzman as management, of course. Everybody at GMO and Jeff GMO. It's been, the camps I've done with him, I've added a little more time here every single time, and this time full time. And the attention that I've been able to get from him and the help and the guidance has been unparalleled. But I would be remiss if I didn't shout out where I came from. Everybody at Talking Dog Jiu-Jitsu and John Salter, Chris Gowd, and everybody at Fitness Edge MMA as well. Mike Kelly, owner there, who opened his door to me for years. My wife has been a rock star of this camp. Her first stint as stay-at-home mom, fresh off of pregnancy, getting right into it, and then we take a fight after the move. And for her, just being willing to be like, hey, as soon as the baby comes, we're going to pack up and go. And just, I said that I put in a post, I think, like, this kid has no idea the circus he just joined when he was born, So just my family, man. They're everything to me, and it's been amazing. It's been, awesome having them here every step of the way. They're going to be in Austin, so really excited for that. Because another thing I think about a lot now is, I guess maybe it's the kids making me sentimental. I don't know, but it's way more than just a job. It's the body of work that we're able to put together. You heard Dana say years ago, this isn't a job, it's an opportunity. And I know he was talking about more of a career-wise, but it is an opportunity, but it's also a chance for me to put together a body of work to show my kids one day. I don't care. I don't want them to be fighters. I don't care about that. It's more about, the pursuit, right? Being bold, going out there and going after something that you believe in. And that's been amazing. I want to shout out my buddy Kevin Hooper, who's been recording a lot of content for me and trying to help me get better in that department. And we're going to put something together, even long form, I think, after this. He's got a lot of B-roll of the camp and stuff. Just a huge asset having him around. And I want to talk about my longtime instructor, John Hassett, because I was actually just messaging with him, and he's the best. He's just a guide in every area for me, and even in my faith. Like, he'll message me all the time, stuff with my faith. And it's very easy to be complacent in that area because you think oh, I read my Bible today, I prayed or whatever. He's always sending me something that challenges me, and it's pretty awesome. But I texted him back today and I said, I'm around a lot of young guys now. I'm not old, but obviously I'm not the youngest in the room. And I was like, man, like, I still run circles around the 20-somethings. And that's because I met a crazy person when I was a kid who brainwashed me into hard work and going after what you want and what you believe in. And I used to call it, I was very lucky to have him. Now I would say blessed, because I think that's by design. And just want to shout him and everybody that has jiu-jitsu out, because, man, meeting him legitimately changed the entire course of my life. So thank you to him always.